This is Lemon's Car Spotting. You post to Instagram with the hashtag Lemon's Car Spotting. We pick the hooptiest.
They are so incredibly terrible.
And which one we want to become a real Lemon's build.
It does car-like things. I've been pushing for one of those in Lemons too, and those are very affordable.
Welcome to another Lemon's Car Spotting. I am Eric. That is Nick. I think I got the side right. And we are here to talk about the crap that you guys see in public, out in the open world, and so on and so forth. You know how it works. Jay will be back someday. I don't know. He's probably lost in the coastal range in the Kellison, whatever. It's fine. Nothing's burning down. Anyway, as we do, we will pick the Lemons build in the left, hooptiest build in the right. I'm a little rusty at this, apparently. And Nick is going to tell me when to stop.
Stop.
That's the left hand. Nick will pick the Lemons build this week.
All right.
Without further ado, let us get underway.
All righty. Oh boy, Eastern Washington Car Spotting is the poster here. What do we got? A Land Rover. God, a Land Rover Discovery.
Yeah,
and the rest Geo Metros.
Yeah, I love that they've. Oh man. The body panel's been swapped across two of them.
Right,
Metros.
yeah, that's cool. I like that.
It's a certain kind of odd symmetry. I mean, this is the setup to a joke, by the way, which is Land Rover and three Metros walk into a bar.
Show up at a Lemons race.
Yeah, write the punchline in the comments section.
I mean, I can't decide if I'm being ironic or not by saying I think if you had a gun to my head and I had to pick one of these cars to use as my car, I might pick one of the Geo Metros over that Land Rover.
Oh yeah, 100%. Probably not the convertible because I'm going to guess convertible.
No, it'll be one of these two in the middle. Hard to say which one is the better of those two.
Yeah. Boy, spectacular. Well done.
Amazing. You know, I was just thinking about somebody posted on one of my Instagram feeds a Land Rover like this in the you can buy it and take it home section of the pick and pull, which I find to be a fascinating section. Like that's a car that somebody has already decided to junk for $50. Yeah. And you know, and you think you're going to be like, oh yeah, no, that's car's probably fine. So there was one of those there, and it reminded me years ago, my friend's father, he inherited one from another one of his family members or something, and he drove it for years and years and years. And I remember thinking, like, maybe all of those horror stories about these era of Land Rovers are just, you know, kind of blown out of proportion because he seems to keep driving it. And so one day I finally asked him, like, hey, how is that thing? He says, it's the worst car I've ever owned, and I don't know why I keep dumping money into it. It's like, okay, all right. So what we thought was true.
Yeah. Turns out. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Oh man, we've got some multiples. Boy, we got a Malibu. Now, we didn't have any of these Malibus racing Lemons until recently. Like 2021 was the banner year for this era of Malibu.
Boy, was the 1997 Motor Trend Car of the Year.
And those guys, automotive journalists, especially those at Motor Trend, they're experts. You know, they know more than the rest of us.
So, oh yeah, totally. I mean,
who are we to judge?
That I'm sure that they didn't just hand that award out because it was replacing a car that had been built unchanged for 15 years and the Malibu nameplate had been dead for also 15 years. And it wasn't just easy softball to General Motors or anything.
Yeah.
Like that.
I think, that seems really unlikely what you're suggesting. It probably was just that there wasn't a single other car made by anybody in 1997 that was better than the Chevy Malibu.
Correct.
That seems more likely. Yeah.
100% better than a 97 Accord.
Oh, yeah. Who would want a 97 Accord? I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Elsewhere, Ford Escape and Lincoln Town Car.
Yep. Great cars.
All right.
It's so much easier to dunk on Chevy Malibu. Oh man, I have seen this thing. I have seen this thing in person. Yeah, this is the Union anti-scab, with the inflatable rat that they put in front of the work site.
Oh, I get it. Interesting. I thought that it was like an exterminator, but
No.
it's
I-
the anti-scab patrol.
Yeah,
Man.
I mean, is that a thing in California? Do the unions show up and have the inflatable rat and everything? Maybe that's a Midwest thing.
I don't know. I mean, I haven't seen it, but I don't know. I might just have to take a trip down to the port of Oakland to see myself an inflatable rat. Wow, that's impressive. See, here's the thing. People are talked out of paying union dues because they've been given some idea that money just goes to corrupt union officials. It doesn't. It goes to the rat patrol, and who doesn't want that?
Yeah, I mean, they paid an extra $60 in Illinois for the custom Scabby 3 license plates.
Scabby 3. Oh, this thing is incredible. So is this, I mean, it looks like it says local 150, so it must be for that specific union, but can you hire as any union the rat patrol to show up?
Well, in theory, there is a certain amount of fraternity among unions, I suppose. They would probably rent out their inflatable rat if it was not being used. Yeah. Now, where did someone get the giant inflatable rat made? I mean, where does anybody get giant inflatables made anyway? But
it better be a union shop, I'll tell you that much.
Exactly. And then, is there a special inflatable rat like rack that they spec from Ford or the dealer to put in the back? I'm very curious.
Right. I don't know. Well, and the other question is, what does the rat patrol do? Like, if they find a scab, do they get hauled away in the Explorer in the rat patrol?
Oh man, they would if they could. Basically, they sit in a lawn chair in front of their giant inflatable rat, and it's people who are, not. You know how unions work. You're laid off when you're not working, so the laid off guy goes and sits in the chair.
I see. I get it. Well, anyway, I support the rat patrol. That's a new one for me.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
All right. Oh God, Matador.
Yeah, that's now, the Matador coupe.
Look at the styling. I mean, come on.
Yeah,
it's just the shape, the profile, the crazy headlights that shoot forward from the rest of the hood.
Yeah,
it's just an incredible machine. And I want to say that some of this era Matador is the only car I have ever seen that has wood grain gauge faces. Like the background to the instruments are wood grain.
Yeah, that was an AMC thing. You can get that on the Javelin, which came before this. The Matador is actually the Javelin replacement, which is
right.
If you've looked at a Javelin and then you've looked at a Matador in that order, you get sad, is what happens.
Yeah, it's like if you've put on 100 pounds since your high school graduation, you're not going back to look at your prom pictures.
Correct. Now, what's cool about the Javelin is the interiors of AMCs I've always thought are really cool. Functional. They're very functional, but the AMC, like the dashboard had like this little bit here that was angled. So you were like surrounded on two sides by dash. It's kind of cool.
Yeah. Just like Toyota Supra.
Yeah, exactly. Identical. I'm sure Toyota stole the idea from AMC in 1973, but I think they probably carried some of that over in the Matador. And really, if you look at like the Matador from not this view, if you look at the 3/4 rear view, you're like, that's a cool looking car. And then you walk around to the front, and again, you get sad.
Yeah. Well, also an answer to what was thought to be a rhetorical question of, well, what kind of place on earth would you find a green Matador on a trailer?
In a Waffle House. Yep. Tracks.
Yep. There you go. Oh man. Wow. What is it? It's an Envoy. I have to read the thing on the back. I mean, we have famously talked about how there's 40 different indistinguishable General Motors midsize SUVs. but this is the one that has like a Studebaker wagon from the 1960s, has some kind of a retractable roof.
If it doesn't, it's meant to look like it does, which is
Well,
actually more General Motors, by the way.
Yeah.
Is
man.
the corny affectation that is non-functional.
Right.
I don't get it. I don't understand anything about this automobile.
Who would buy a Honda Ridgeline when you could buy this?
Right.
Wow.
This one's got a trailer hitch, which,
Yeah.
man.
Well, is this the same? Is this like a Trailblazer chassis?
I think it is. I mean,
Yeah.
again, as we've discussed, who the hell actually knows?
Could be a Trailblazer, could be an Opel. Nobody knows.
Well,
Yeah.
there it is, though.
Well, there it is, man. Combine this with the Malibu Max as your tow vehicle and Lemons Racer, man, you're in business.
Yeah.
All right. Oh,
Speaking of
man, Sunbird.
Yep.
One of the comments, these used to litter my high school's parking lot. Not true for my 90s California high school.
Yeah. J bodies were definitely a fixture of where I grew up. So
Yeah.
Not many Sunbirds, mostly Cavaliers by the time I was in school.
Right.
Something about these having an Opel engine that was not very long lived.
Yeah. You as a younger person than me, that's really pushing the longevity of one of these things.
Yeah. I feel like the 4-door was fairly uncommon of this, but I don't know.
I don't hate the color combo and the little stripe package, little graph paper smoke taillight package, shadow line window trim in the BMW parlance.
I do like, and we've talked about this at length, that Pontiac's wheel game in the late 80s and early 90s, unparalleled.
Yeah, no, 100%. They took child's drawings of the land of Tron and made them wheels.
No, what they had was the the thing where you had the pen and it would trace the patterns. Oh god,
yeah.
Oh,
what was that thing called?
That's escaping me. Somebody in the comments.
Yeah.
This the second I said it.
Right.
But yeah, it's got like the gears, so you would draw the weird pattern.
Yeah,
that's how they did wheel design.
Yeah, definitely. All right, next up. Oh man, taking a spy shot. Oh, and wow, it's a Zimmer Quicksilver and an Avanti. It's just so shocking that the kind of person that would own an Avanti would also be interested in a Zimmer Quicksilver.
Name a more iconic pair of automobiles. I'll wait. There's a reason they're behind a gate. Yeah.
Oh man. Oh god. So these were the ones that were on a Fiero chassis.
Yeah, because why wouldn't you do that? Why wouldn't you build a luxury coupe on a Fiero chassis?
Exactly. Wow. What an amazing, it's the kind of logic that created the Avanti, the I'm smarter than you logic is the same kind of logic that creates the Zimmer Quicksilver.
Yeah.
And on the one hand, it never comes out good. On the other hand, I really wish there were more people that thought that. Everybody who's an internet conspiracy theorist, do us all a favor and start designing cars. Don't just spend time spreading misinformation on Twitter. It would be much more entertaining if there were more people just, all you car people are idiots. I am going to design my own.
I have this.
Be a better place. Yeah.
What we need is more chrome and more overhang and I don't know, man. It's crazy.
It's a wild machine.
If you can't actually find a Zimmer Quicksilver to race in Lemons, just make your own. I mean, how hard could it actually be?
How hard could it possibly be? Yeah. We've had plenty of Fieros, and we've had plenty of people use surfboard foam. That's all you need.
Yep. Slam dunk.
All right.
Ooh.
Oh, wow. This is a Galaxy.
Yeah.
This is an early, like a 63 coupe. These are really cool cars. I mean, these were famously raced in period. they still show up at the Goodwood Festival of Speed, or the Goodwood Revival, rather, racing against Hillman Imps and such, which is always fun to watch. No, this is a really cool car. You have a big block FE V8 in one of these, fastback rear. This one's got the fender skirts, bullet-shaped taillights. This is actually a cool car.
Yeah, this is my dad's first car. Was a Galaxy 500, 64, a 65, which is a little later than this, but same general idea. We have had one of these in Lemons. Doug Kirchberg famously fished out a really ratty Galaxy 500 and did a Parnelli Jones tribute.
Yeah, and it looked great from 500 feet away, as any good Lemons car does. And you got close and you saw what horrible shape it was actually.
That car still exists, by the way. I think Silent But Deadly Racing has it, and it hooked a drive shaft through the floor, which kind of puts a damper on racing the car again. So
that takes some doing in a 60s Ford. I mean, we've seen that in Fiats and stuff, and it's like, but all right. Next up.
Oh, man.
Oh, boy.
Speaking of cars that were littering my hometown.
These, were famously short-lived. This is the LH platform, Transverse V6. They had any number of well-documented common problems. What I like, one of the things I like is, for some reason, they couldn't figure out a way to cost effectively make a styled alloy wheel.
Right.
And they came up with this proprietary process of basically an integrated hubcap, where this is like some kind of a bonded composite material on top of a steel wheel. So it's not really a hubcap, but it's also not an alloy wheel either. And it's like, man, imagine how broke ass you have to be to take alloy wheels just completely off the table, as a total impossibility, to the point where you have to come up with something that nobody's ever dreamed of before or since.
Polycast, I believe they are called. Yeah, boy. I don't know what to say about the Intrepid. They were really great cars, and they were reviewed really well because car reviewers, as we've talked about again on here before, if you watch this regularly, don't have to own the car and drive it for more than about 500 miles. It turns out
the most.
Owning a car like this, at 80,000 miles, it's having really major problems with it, and then it gets parked like this for the last 15 years or 20 years or 25. I guess this is a pretty early one. So
well, and I'd like to point out, and we've highlighted this before, just the 90s styling, these little taillight strips below the main taillights, and then of course the taillight, the heck blend that goes all the way across the back, nameplate in the reverse light section in the middle. It's all very Demolition Man future, and Chrysler was the only company that was visionary / daring / short-sighted / stupid enough to actually put it on a real car. Ford and them, they did a concept car that surely had these details, but then it was production. It's going to look really dated in about 15 minutes, so let's not actually do that. But God bless Chrysler for actually making it happen.
Longitudinal V6, by the way.
Like an Audi.
Supposed to be rear-wheel or all-wheel drive eventually, and then
and it never was. You got to plan ahead. All right, last for the week. Oh man. Oh God. I mean, we often say at Lemons, especially when we're doing things like trying to write a script for a YouTube video or trying to put together a Lemons blog, occasionally you'll see something, and we have a saying that says, the jokes, they write themselves. And I don't think there's anything we can say about this that's funnier than just the image by itself. Oh, man. Well, with that, let's go to some awards. I believe you've got the hooptiest.
Yeah, boy. I mean, a burning PT Cruiser is perhaps sweeping in at the last moment to take it.
Yeah.
The Intrepid, always a classic, but I mean, that's almost Hoopty is almost the normal state for any Dodge Intrepid, so I'm gonna pass on that. Yeah, I'm gonna go with a car that was arguably the nicest one of the group, but has no reason to exist in the way that it is. Talking, of course, about the GMC Envoy, which I just feel like taking a giant dump all over because it exists. Why?
Yeah.
Just why? There are so many why questions with General Motors in the 2000s. And, for all I know, this is a 2014 or something, too.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I don't disagree. I mean, this is, SUVs are not a complicated concept. You famously can make one that looks incredibly homely and you'll sell 100 million copies of it. Case in point, Toyota RAV4, right?
Yeah.
And then General Motors has somehow figured out a way to make that weird and off-putting and essentially sales-proof, especially in this era. So, I don't disagree with that assessment.
Yeah, kudos to Blue Car Spotting for also taking a photo of the absolute worst angle of this thing as well.
Yeah,
that probably isn't helping anything, but
yeah, it's the business end for sure.
Yeah.
Well, for the Lemons build, there's no question.
Yeah.
It's the Zimmer Quicksilver. I mean, whether it's a real one or, as Eric suggested, a home-built replica. You just got to make it happen. It's simple as that. We've seen an Avanti, which is great. Yeah. Quicksilver, do it.
Yeah, supposedly one of 170 in the comments, which is the perfect way. I mean, 168 of them should be in Lemons, and the other 2 should probably be put in a museum, just so we remember that somebody was crazier than
one of them is owned by Mr. Zimmer's family.
Yeah.
The other one is at the Peterson Museum in LA, and the other 168 should be racing in Lemons. It's not a difficult formula to figure out.
Not at all. So, get a Zimmer, bring it to Lemons, get a trophy. Pretty easy. I think that's going to do it for this episode of Lemons Car Spotting. Keep tagging your spots with Lemons Car Spotting. We'll talk about the hooptiest of them and the lemonsiest.
Indeed. Man, somebody in the comments here says that it looks like a Buick Riviera, which it does. And that's like, was Zimmer trying to make it look that way? Or was Buick trying to make their car look like a Zimmer? I don't know. It's amazing.
Completely amazing.